Rebel Dane, he was second behind Lankan Rupee and that fabulous TJ Smith in the autumn.
Yes, and in the Moir Stakes too, to buffering, he was very close up behind there. Some might say when you look through his form, Bruce, he's been very unlucky. So now he gets the straight 6 at Flemington. We know he's a Group 1 1400-metre winner. That's a very good CV for a strong 6 furlongs here against the world's best sprinters. Now, he's a very nice-looking horse. He's a cat-like horse. You see that dip in his back, how he's just got a beautiful seat in there for the jockey to sit in. He's got a little dip, little sway back, we sort of call it. But he looks fantastic. He's never a heavy horse, but he's ready to run.
Famous Seamus, he's in career best form. He's a Group 1 winner. He's never been going better.
Well, if there was going to be a Dandy Andy type Boyle over here, this might be the horse that could cause it because, look, he's capable of matching it with these horses. He doesn't win as often as these better horses do, but he can pull out a big performance. Whether he'll pull it out today, we're going to see.
Well, Joe Pride has really got a big opinion of Terra Vista. He's had some good horses. He reckons this is the best sprinter he's ever had. He thinks he might be the best sprinter in the world.
Wow, well, that's a pretty big call. Well, he did have that brilliant winning spree up in Sydney, and then he came down for the Manicato. And like with a lot of horses in that race, he was finishing fast, and he was only beaten 0.4 of a length by Lankan Rupee. Look at him in the mountain yard. He's strong. Look at that strong shoulder, great depth through the girth, huge round hindquarters. You know, he's never run this 1200 down the straight at Flemington, but Hugh Bowman says he relaxes beautifully, and you can't rule him out, definitely not.
Simon, it looks like Chautauqua's going straight out there. He'll either be a boom horse or a wonder horse in 10 minutes' time.
Well, he will, Bruce. Look, he's broke 1.9. He's both runs down the straight over 1,200 metres this time in, and that's electrifying, folks. It was 54 kilos he carried when he won the Bobby Lewis. Then he stepped up to 56.5, and he won the Gill Guy, and he ran 1.828. Now he steps up a further 2 kilos to Wait for Age. For him to win his first Group 1, he's got to do it against the world's very best with a little bit more weight, but by gee, he looks extremely well.
Look, he's taking no risks whatsoever with Chautauqua, 250 to 260. That happened early in betting. Nothing has happened since then. They're keeping it rock solid at 260.
To you, Muns?
Well, Bruce, you've got to realise at tab.com.au we've been betting on this race for 3 months, and it's not unusual to see Chautauqua drift here on course today because the bookies here haven't had a chance to lay it. They're not going to let a horse go round. He step up to Group 1 up to Wait for Age against the best sprinters in the world, go round as a $2.25 chance. He's just going out at the moment to probably meet the tote price.
Well, that marker move will be fascinating, Glenn. So the scene is set. These marvellous sprinters, 13 in total, lining up for the $1 million Darley Classic, and they will fly, absolutely fly down the Flemington Straight. Well, Simon and Francesco have just come back in from the mounting yard, and it is yapping here. I mean, everyone is just really excited. And both of you said the one thing. Lankan Rupee walked into the mounting yard like he owned Flemington.
He pretty much does, doesn't he? He's the sprint king here. What was it in the Newmarket? He was giving weight away.
All of them, and then blew them away here last. Of course, blew them away here last Melbourne Cup.
If he's back to his best, he'll blow them away again.
Do you think so?
Yeah. I know I've tipped the other horse, Chautauqua. I love him. I think he's a brilliant sprinter, but you know what? If I had a chance to change, I might change now.
Well, he walked in like he owned the joint. Chautauqua was a little bit fizzy. That's him on screen there, the grey horse. He was just getting a little bit hot, a little bit fizzy like a kid. That was all, you know, something's different today. It's a lot hotter than when he raced. He's just, you know, burned a little bit of nervous energy, I can notice.
My only small negative for Lankan Rupee is he's drawn on the other side to Chautauqua, to slave power, to buffering.
There's terrific. Glenn Munsey, who is the market mover for the Darley Classic?
Well, Bruce, once again, analysing what's happened over the whole day here. Now, remember, Chautauqua, Paddy was telling us this morning it was $2.25. It's $2.50 to $2.60 to $2.50. Terra Vista, on the other hand, was $13 this morning. It's been 13 into as short as $9.50, back to 10, but it's been a better firm than the favourite, so we're going to go with Terra Vista.
So Terra Vista, the official market mover. Now, can you just talk us through what happens with Slave Power here? He's drawn barrier 4. How does he go into the barrier?
So I think the only times he's run bad races is when he's misbehaved in barrier and missed the break. So the key is with him, what they decided that the way to manage him was to try and put him in last, which they allow him to do in Europe, and that way he's in the barriers for the least amount of time possible. He goes in with the hood on, and as is normal in Europe, the jockey takes the hood off at the last moment before the barriers open. So the thing is with him, he doesn't really want to be standing in there.
So he doesn't go in last here, though, does he?
Well, he doesn't, but he's meant to be. He's in barrier 4, so he'll go in barrier order. Yeah.
Notice they're putting in, the ones on the outside are going in first.
So here he is. He's getting a bit warm, but that's to be expected.
Buffering loads up inside him, and
so the hood's on now. So the jockey himself will take this off, won't he?
Which is very normal in Europe, and yeah, it's always the way that the store handlers say, you know, 3 to go, 2 to go, 1 to go, jockeys, and pull the hood off, and off they go.
They normally start putting the ones in the inside group in at the same time, but I noticed the few on the outside have gone in early.
I think he's about to come up here. No, he's got.
In theory, 1, 2, and 3 will go.
You've got to go in before him, so he's not coming in for a bit.
Buffering will go in first on barrier 1. Moment in Change will go into barrier 2. Chautauqua goes in 3, and then Slade Power will be loaded up. That's him in the candy stripe sleeve.
Chautauqua was in the barrier next to Slade Power, which the horses weren't too happy about. But
so here's Chautauqua. Chautauqua comes up next. So Slade Power's the next to come up from the inside. So he's there's Buffering we can see now. Here's Slade Power. So he's about to come up. There's still only 2 to go up, I think.
Some might say
he may be the last horse to go. Now, this is interesting. I reckon he's going to be... No, he'd be the 3rd last horse to come up. So here's the moment that a lot of people have been talking about for weeks. He comes up now.
Now, he's got his own handler all the way from the UK to lead him in blindfolded. This is where they'll lock him up from behind. He feels the gates on his rear.
He wouldn't be used to having handlers standing up in the stalls with him, so he's made sure he hasn't got any of that. Wayne Norton's got his hand on the hood.
1 to go. Greg Miles. That hood about to come off. Here's the Darley Classic.
They're set. They're away. Slade Power missed it by almost a length, and Lankan Rupee away with a flyer with Platelet and Driefontein. Temple of Boom bounced away well and Buffering away very fast towards the inside. But it's Lankan Rupee who goes to the lead now with Buffering on his inside, and then Driefontein. Platelet next 4th over on the outside, being followed Moment of Change. Back behind them, Temple of Boom as they settle fully into stride down towards the inside, and they're fairly tightly bunched. Temple of Boom is followed by Cluster over on the outside, and then Terra Vista sidesteps a good way back in the field. Slade Power's got up to be about 4th or 5th. Now let's see as they run down towards the 500-metre mark. Chautauqua was buried away over on the inside, trying to find a way through. Buffering the leader, 500 left to go from Lankan Rupee. Platelet right up there. Slade Power behind them on the rail for Moment of Change. Chautauqua starting to work into the race now, and then Driefontein, Cluster, and Rebel Danes right down the outside. Lankan Rupee moved to the lead now at the 200 metres. Buffering won't let him have it on his own. Here's Terra Vista weaving through, and Chautauqua, they're coming. Lankan Rupee in front. Terra Vista about to claim him, and now Chautauqua. Terra Vista's hit the lead though. Terra Vista in front, and Terra Vista won it by a head. Chautauqua. Lankan Rupee's run 3rd. Moment of Change. Buffering followed by Famous Seamus, Rebel Dane. Back behind them, sidestep Driefontein. Slade Power weakens out on the run home, being followed then by Platelet, Cluster, and Temple of Boom.
Well, he might be the best sprinter in the world. He, too, had not won a Group 1 like Chautauqua before today. That was as good a sprint race as you'll ever see. No excuses. Maybe Slade Power misses the kick. Every other big sprinter had a chance. How quick did they run?
1:8.79.
Okay. They fairly flew. Now, this was a moment. He was slowly away, wasn't he?
Yeah. The hood comes off, and he just sort of half dwells, and you cannot do that at this level. You watch from above here. When he comes out, he misses at half a length. By the time they've gone 100 metres, he's 4 or 5 lengths behind the leading pack. You can't win from there.
I disagree. As a jockey in a barrier, you don't need to be pulling a hood off the horse just before you jump.
They've gone 20 metres and he's upsized Chautauqua and Terra Vista.
But he's still doing work to get up in behind
him. I think he's not.
Okay, Lankan Rupee's exposed. He's got Buffering. Terra Vista and Chautauqua are coming together.
He dipped a couple of times, Lankan Rupee, when he got to the front, and his head just comes up this last bit. But Terra Vista, we talk about that slipstream. We've been talking about it for the last 4 days here at Flemington. He got that slipstream. He was presented beautifully by Hugh Bowman. Look at him. He's tucked behind in the orange colours. Moment of Change. He gets in between. He's following Platelet. Now he sneaks out.
Great stuff. Huey Bowman's ridden more Group 1 winners than any other jockey this year in Australia, and he's with Sammy Hyland. That was a real championship race.
Hugh Bowman, Terra Vista, it was great for you coming from back in the field.
Yeah, he's a serious horse, this, and he's such a relaxed horse. Joe and I, for the last 2 or 3 preparations, have been getting ready for miles, Doncasters and Epsoms and things in Sydney, but this time we decided to change it around, and Joe in particular said, look, let's try and make a sprinter out of him, and you're going to hear a lot more of him. He'll be the best sprinter in the country come the autumn.
And Joe has said that. Joe has said this is the best horse I've trained, or one of anyway.
Well, he kept saying it to me when I used to ride him last preps, and he just wasn't. He was going well early on in his preps and just wasn't seeing it through. And as we stepped him up over to the 1600, he just wasn't as effective. So his body shape's different now. You know, he's such a kind animal, and we love him.
Great to get another Group 1 up, Hugh, and get some dance moves going tonight.
Thanks, Sammy.
Well, that race lived up to its billing. Joe Pride, what a win. He might be the best sprinter in the world. You've got great faith in this horse.
Yeah, he's world class, there's no doubt about that. He didn't have the run I thought he was going to have. I thought would be a lot closer. Saw him back there. I can't say I panicked, but I wasn't exactly happy where I was. But look, that's why you put blokes like Huey on. He just judged it to a T, came through the guts, and when he burst through, no one was going to beat him.
2 wonderful horses out in front of him, though, Buffering and Lankan Rupee, who'd had a good run in the race. Yeah. But to finish off the way you did, it's just a testament to his ability.
He's an amazing horse, you know, and he's only at the start of his peak, if you like. He's going to go for the next few seasons. The whole family do it, you know, and just privileged to train this bloke.
Can you go into a race like this confident? As I said, you've got a great deal of regard for his ability, but when you've got the likes of Slade Power and the horse of the year in the race against you, can you be confident?
Look, I'm too nervous with this horse to feel anything other than just nerves. Every time he races, I just shaves another year off my life, but I think he just put a couple back on then, so it's good.
Well, you talk about him maybe being the best sprinter in the world. Would you set your sights on something like Ascot next year?
Yeah, look, every chance. I mean, there's not a lot of prize money around. He's a gelding, you know, and sort of got to consider prize money with a horse like this. He's done a pretty good job today. I think he's picked up a pretty decent check, and the Sydney Autumn's his next assignment.
You've had some big moments. Is this the big one?
It's as good as it gets, I think. Yeah, look, I don't want to sort of compare great moments, but that was fantastic watching that race. It was just as it unfolded, just so exciting.
Go and soak it up, Joe Pride. Well done.
Great, thanks very much.
Well, it had a big building, and the race lived up to everything. It was just a classic contest between 3 absolutely outstanding sprinters. And just a little side note, the half-brother to this horse is called Ball of Muscle. He won in Sydney today for Joe Pride as well.
That's fantastic. And this guy that rides, Huey Lewis and the News, it's hip to be square. He won the Oaks on set square. And here he comes out on Terra Vista. He's singing his own tunes, this guy. And that's what he does when he wins the big races. She's apples, mate. He whacks the 3 fingers up, pinches the she's apples.
Well, he's shown he's not only a very good jockey of staying races, and here he is. He's done it again in the sprint.
So what do you think? Does it offer more questions than answers, this race, or is it conclusive now that the best sprinter in this part of the world is Terra Vista? That's for later in the program. At the end of the legs. At the end